Good morning! It's 7 a.m. I'm awake and dressed and I have makeup on. I'm walking over to the conference center. My hood will not stay up. It's raining. Let's start day 3.
Idea of the Fellows program to TED almost 10 years ago.
Look, I got a fancy sign. Ooh, I have a little break. I've been performing for like hours already. When I get a break later on, we'll go on a little whirlwind lap of the floor that I'm currently on now that it is just banging with people. Lenny is dead, so I'm taking the opportunity to like wander around.
Gender violence under the rug, much like our criminal justice system.
My HoloLens is officially dead and it charges super slow, so I need to figure out sort of a performance schedule. Here's Lenny, currently charging. He's very sleepy. So my like TED assistance human ran off to get some paper so we could put up like a closed sign, I guess. I guess I'm still learning how to do this. Usually if the HoloLens died, I would just leave the museum, but I can't do that here, so make a tiny sign. A lot of the stuff that's on the floor is like curated, like I guess bookstore / corporate sponsors, and I really love this book with this huge print in it. Around the hotel courtyard, Atlatlan, 1985, oil on 2 canvases.
I have to reply to her email.
This is the first session, I think. Here. Over! That was great. Now I'm going to a dinner with the other tech program students. There's the camera. Now leaving party number 1 to go to party number 2. I'm realizing that I'm not great at like the get other people to be in these videos thing, because like it is talking to things. Okay, next party. For this extra cute onesie that I made, and then I managed to rip a giant hole in the butt. I fell down and look, my butt is showing. Finally walking back to the hotel so I can chat a little. Man, that was a fucking whirlwind of a day. And apparently today was also the least busy. I definitely got a lot of mixed reactions. Some people were really excited by it initially. I got, you know, a ton of people laying down on the floor doing the piece. I had like 1 or 2 people asking me about like, what were the practical applications of this? And I just answered, art. Art is the practical application of my performance art piece. One person put the headset on for like a few seconds and took it off and told me it wasn't as good as The Void, and then just walked away. But mostly they have been really good responses, and I've heard sort of through the grapevine that people have been chatting about it sort of once they've left the piece, which I've never had the opportunity to hear about before. So that's one of the great things about performing at the conference. And the one thing that people have been talking about the most is the opportunity to walk inside the sculpture. Because it's not a physical object, it's the first time people have been able to walk inside of an entirely enclosed sculpture. Installation works or large-scale sculptures like Richard Serra's, which are intended to be walked inside of, have interiors, but this one you have to physically walk into it. You have to, maybe violate is too strong a word, but that's definitely in the ballpark. But getting feedback like this, hearing feedback like this is great because it can feed. But getting feedback like this is great because I can really think about how my next augmented reality sculpture project can evolve from people's experiences with this one. Hello, hotel room. Let's get some lights. One of my favorite, there are a bunch of really great talks, but Jaron Lanier is here, who I know from the Bay Area, and he gave this talk about why we should pay for things on the internet, and I really loved, lights! I really loved his talk in the first session. It wasn't all just rock and roll music and extravaganzas. I really loved his take on this sort of basically a mistake of liberalism in the beginning of the internet in the 90s, that everything needed to be free, and instead of the internet including things like, you know, public libraries of content, that like everything had to be free all the time, and you know, that led to basically the data mining, advertising era that we live in now. And I just really liked, you know, he's kind of a doofus and he's a very like gentle speaker, and I really liked his talk. Steven Pinkert also gave a talk. He was actually the last one in this session I was just in. And I've been a long time reader of his books, and this is sort of yet another data-driven proof of human progress kind of thing. And I have for a long time used his proof that fewer humans with every decade die from human violence as sort of a fact of my belief system, and that fact I don't know, maybe shores up other kinds of despair that come from short-term losses, and he you know, used a lot of data points to point out other kinds of long-term gains, and he also made this point that intellectuals hate progress. Not that they hate the outcomes of progress, like he brought up the point about, you know, nobody wants surgery without anesthesia, but that concept of progress is usually, if you believe in progress, then you're kind of like make-believe cheerleader. But his point is that, you know, you can really see this, the data really shows this kind of human progress being made over centuries. And I have really taken to that idea and try to internalize it as part of a balanced diet with maybe there are short-term losses, but also there are long-term gains. And there are also short-term gains, and I have to balance all of those things when I think about the world and my relationship to it.